I did like Riverside. It is more organized. It almost feels more professional. You know,
Yeah.
like the countdown and
Hmm.
the output, the layout. It's not bad. Also, it's like constantly uploading right now. And oh, by the way, we're not sponsored by like Riverside. By the way, it's
Yeah.
just I'm just want to talk about like it has really cool perks, and I found it through Spotify. Spotify actually recommends Riverside for like podcasters.
Mm.
But like as we're recording right now, it's like uploading already the stuff that's recording right now. The right now
Yeah.
is happening then, which is now in this moment, which I guess could have been before. I don't even know. I don't even know where I was trying to
No,
go with
it's
that.
like it's living in the present with us. But I will
Yeah.
say this, and also it's nice that it knows that my default mic is my Yeti that I have, because
Really?
apparently,
Oh.
because here's the thing, because I think what happened was in our last couple of episodes, I've sounded tiny, like I sound like I'm at the other side of the room, like hi, trying to like talk, and I think my
No.
OBS focused on using my webcam mic,
Yeah, it,
so
it
it
does that. It does that for you.
yeah.
But guys, like true TBD Tavern lore, Ambu is 7 feet tall. He is seven
What?
feet tall. He is huge. He is a tall man. He's buff and he is 7 feet tall. When he came over to visit me in Texas, I could barely fit him through the apartment door. I was like, holy, hey Ambu, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, 7 foot is 5'8". Sure, yeah, bud, whatever. I was more like doing this silver, like, hey, how's the weather up there, dude? You doing good? Is it a
Nah.
different temperature up there?
Nah. I'm only 2 inches taller than you, but barely. I could barely make that out. Like when I saw you, you were much. If to me, you felt like you were much taller than that. But
It was the hair. It's okay. I get it. The hair is a little
was it?
too
Is it the
like
mane? Is the
probably,
mane?
dude. That's because okay. So like during the what was it when I went to go visit you? I had the giant long hair
Move
going
more to
that
this side.
grows out
Like I
like a
feel like you're
mushroom.
out of frame on the camera. There you
It's
go.
because this. Hold on. Can I?
No, what do you mean? You're fine there.
There.
Look
Is
at
that
how
better?
beautiful he
Good.
looks, chat. Look at
Oh
there
my
he is.
god. Hold on. I need
There
to
he
skip
is.
back because I feel like I'm like too personal with like my camera right now. Like
No, very not.
slowly creeping in. Like, hello. Well, okay. Well, welcome to TBD Tavern, everybody. Welcome on in. Hello, I'm your co-host, the Wandering Ambu. I'm joined by the ever sexy, ever beautiful Bucky's drinking man over here, Silver Blazak.
Oh, that's right. I forgot the Bucky. I was like, what? I was like, oh yeah.
Sponsored by Bucky's. I'm totally kidding. We're not sponsored, but we'd love to be sponsored by Bucky's if
But
that's possible.
but for real though, if Bucky's ever wants to, if you're
Bro,
listening,
Bucky's, I will shill for you on no doubt. I'll have like Bucky's on like the screen right here. I'll have a Bucky's banner on my door.
yeah,
Like we'll go full Bucky's mode over here. I'll make it look like I live in Bucky's. I don't mind. I'm just saying.
Bucky Nation, man. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we are, another episode of the TBD Tavern.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're talking about Blue Box, an actual romance anime or romance anime manga to novel story, an actual romance. Unlike that other
Unlike
trash series, which I don't remember the name.
man, it was such a danger to my heart.
That's what it is. They are the dangers of my heart, or the dangers of my
Yeah.
trash can. Um,
I know my poor trash can was crumpling up inside itself, going, "Why do I have to swallow this?"
it was. I mean, so the good thing is that Blue Box is a series that you can find on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix doesn't get a lot of dubs, but when it does, it gives us Blue Box. And
Mm-hmm.
Blue Box was to me at least like the animation too is so nice and clean. I enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
everything about this series. The animation was great. The starting of the story was so clean as well. It
Mm-hmm.
looked like a sports series because I think it took us a while to start watching it because I think I pitched it to Ambu, but then I was like, I don't know, like it's a sports anime. Maybe we won't like it. But I'm like, well, Haikyuu is a good series, and there's been a couple of good sports animes that are worth it, but they're usually not my slice of pie. Um, there was more to it. It's a
Hmm.
romance anime. It's not just like about basketball, right? Or badminton, right? Is that the
It was badminton and basketball. So the main character that we have is Taiki Inomata, who is a badminton player who, as we learn, he does not like team sports because he likes to have control over his own destiny. He's somebody who admits that, like, for him, he wants to be able to be the one who, if he loses, it's his fault. If he wins, it's because it's his work. And he has a crush on this girl named Chinatsu Kano, who is the star basketball player of their high school. Uh, like, basically everybody knows who she is. She's popular. Everybody regards her as like a celebrity at the school. And the thing is that both her and Taiki go to the gym early every morning to practice on their own. And he falls in love with her because it's like, oh, here's somebody who's just as driven as I am, and I'm amazed at like what she does. And it just starts from there. We just see how driven he is by her, and how ultimately she becomes driven by, like, motivated by his like temerity as well. One of the things I liked about Blue Box is really how the show was about romance, but it didn't lose the individuality of the characters as well. Like, Taiki
yeah,
still wanted to be the best badminton player of his school.
yeah,
Chinatsu never gave up her dream of going to nationals. She never went, "I'll do it for you, Taiki," or like change anything.
yes,
There was a lot
exactly.
of respect for one another, of like their desires and their dreams and their goals. I
As
mean,
individuals, as sportsmen
mhm.
and woman, yeah,
Yeah, and like the situation that's set up is because they want to support each other in their dreams. Because what happens in the first episode, the circumstances that are created is that Chinatsu ends up living with Taiki and his family because her mother and Taiki's mother used to be on the basketball team together, and Chinatsu's family is moving to America. And Chinatsu told her family, "I want to stay here because I want to make it to nationals. I want to bring our team there. That is my dream." And
yeah,
so we kind of see how not only is that a big step forward in a romance, because I don't feel like a lot of romance allows that to happen. I feel like most romance shows, a character is leaving, and then what brings them back isn't what they want to do in life. It's more of the random confession at the last 11th hour, being like, "Oh, I loved you, and I've loved you this whole time." And then that's what, like, becomes their primary drive and objective. But I like
yeah,
in Blue Box, it's, no, I want to play basketball, I want to win. And
yeah,
then that sets both of them up for the rest of the series to, like, encourage each other, to push each other, to inspire one another even on the roughest days. And that was one of the biggest standout moments for me of the show.
yeah. No, I agree, and I love it. And from the very beginning, when we're getting introduced to the characters, uh, it to fast forward kind of quick. It is
Mhm.
a love triangle story, which
That's true.
for me, I don't love love triangles. They're so overplayed. But this one was actually done very well, in my opinion. But when the two first main characters in this story get introduced, right? Taiki and then Shinatsu, um, it introduces them by showcasing him kind of being like this dude that, like you said, he likes to be an individual contributor and be held accountable by his own successes and failures. But it talks about how he not first immediately fell in love with this girl, but because yeah, he has a crush on her. He likes her. She's pretty. She's like the
Mhm.
popular basketball girl. But it shows us that he actually fell in love with her dedication, her hard
Right.
work, her showing up every single day to the gym to practice, even though she was already like recognized as this like because she had developed a fame already of being like this golden girl basketball player,
Hmm.
right? Who is popular, she's pretty, she's very talented, right? And all of that inspires him because he's somewhat of a not. I don't want to call him a slacker. He wasn't really a slacker, but I feel like he wasn't trying his hardest at first in badminton, right? Like he was in the team. He was playing. He was doing something. He was staying active. He was having fun, but not to the point where like I'm gonna go to nationals, you know.
Yeah.
But when he found her, discovered her, I guess, and became inspired by her, that's that's where he started wanting to do the same thing. It was like I'm gonna go for nationals. I'm gonna aim to be at the top in the sport that I'm in, right?
Yeah.
So she really inspired him, which is weird to see in a romance because usually we see in a lot of these animes, a lot of these Japanese series where there's usually a lot of like emotional manipulation, a lot of people putting each other down, right? There isn't really
Yeah.
a lot of growth, or sometimes there is a little bit, um, but here at the very beginning, these two characters are just kind of like inspiring each other. It was kind of sweet that he was looking up to her, but without even realizing she was also looking at him. Because
Hmm.
it also shows her, not immediately, but later on, we find out that while he was looking at her every single day, I was like, man, this girl's like working so hard. She was also looking at him, being like, man, this guy is also here every single time and he's trying so hard as well.
Yeah.
So they were both inspiring each other
Hmm.
to be better in their sport and to try harder, and ultimately also causing them to both start to fall kind of in love with each other, right? Him a little
Yeah.
bit more than her with him, because her priority was like it was basketball, which is
Hmm.
which is again not normal when we see like a romance series, right?
Yeah.
She was focused on her goal. That's why she stayed in Japan, because
Hmm.
she wanted to get to nationals, because we found out that she she failed. She had a year. She was a year ahead of him. She's a year ahead of him, and uh, they lose. She goes to nationals, but they lose to this other team that causes her some trauma. Not trauma necessarily, but it does hurt her quite a bit. Her ego. Um, but I don't know. She's able to find that inspiration, that spark again in the sport, and wanting to do good and better through
Yeah.
through watching him work hard in his own thing.
Well, I think what I liked about it, and you mentioned this, is that I think there's a few things that really set this romance as like in a different light for me. One of the first ones is what you brought up, is like the respect and how it blossoms into romance. It's not just, oh, she pretty. It's like
Yeah,
one of my, like, in I think in the second episode he tells her one of the memories he remembers most about her is how she uh practiced after they lost nationals when he was still in middle school, and how even though she was crying because she lost, she didn't just wallow in her misery, she actually kept practicing. And then we kind of see him in the same perspective of like, he was sad because he lost to this character named Yusa, because he thought he'd been doing good. He had beat Haru in a game for the first time, which for him that was his parameter. If I beat him, then I have a good shot at nationals. But then this other character in another school named Yusa beat the crap out of him, and he was like, "Wow, my dream's already over," because it was the first round.
yeah,
And he realized, like, if like after he was sad for a moment, he was like, I realize I have to keep moving forward because Chinatsu would move forward, and
yeah,
me, staying like this won't help me get where I want to. I actually want to get better. And so you see these characters, instead of it being like, oh, I have to like tend to one another, it's like they draw the inspiration from one another, and that's what really sets them apart. Um, the other thing that I like too is that I really feel like Blue Box does a really good job of representing how love isn't immediate right away. It's not always love at first sight. Because when Chinatsu
Yeah.
talks to Keren, who is like Haru's girlfriend and like a close friend to her, she talks about how she likes Taiki towards the end of the series, but it's kind of like a plant that she has to water and like give like give attention to. And so she was talking about how there are moments where sometimes she would pull away from it and then it wouldn't flower anymore. So she would start to find herself going back to the plant and then start watering it again and feel it, and she's not certain because for her life has always been about basketball. And I like that about the show because it shows how love doesn't always have to be a love at first sight, oh my god, like you're the woman of my dreams, because some, like, let's face it, sometimes that doesn't happen for a lot of people. But
Yeah.
how it can grow out of somebody inspiring you and you feel like they bring out the best in you, and they push you, and they
Yeah.
have the same values as you, and they show you the respect that you want, and they recognize you as an individual with your own dreams and aspirations,
Yeah.
and it's wonderful. And then the third thing, Silver, before I so I
No, no, you're
can
good.
drop
Yeah.
double off, is I love how a lot of the typical contrived tropes of anime romance doesn't really happen, because even Taiki, there's moments where he's like, yeah, I'm jealous of this guy getting close to Chinatsu, but she's her own person and I need to focus on me. Or Chinatsu being like, I need to set this boundary between us because I don't know if you like Hina because Hina has said that she likes you. And there were definitely some moments where I felt like it was a little contrived in the show, but it wasn't as bad as like The Dangers in My Heart, where it was over the top. Clearly, they're working through things mentally, but it doesn't become such a big focal point to where
Right.
you're going, okay, here goes with the misconception, and someone's going to be angry all day. It's kind of like these are definitely teenagers trying to figure it out, but they're
Yeah.
realistic in their portrayal.
Yeah. No, no, I agree. They do eventually go through a phase like that, but much later in the series, as like you said, like they've watered that little like that those little seeds that were kind of like planted
Hmm.
at the beginning, little by little, and they end up finding out they have all these feelings. Because there's rivalries. There's also jealous moments, right? For
Hmm.
Taiki, where there's like a guy that has like a crush on her,
Hmm.
um, from another school, and he immediately takes action on it to try and like stop him, which sometimes we
Yeah.
see some MCs kind of like hold back, or they don't want to seem like the jealous person, but he's like, no, I am jealous. Like I don't know, he surrenders to things very naturally and easily, which was to me was nice, was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked how you said that. So yeah, at first it's kind of like admiration, and then eventually it turned into a romantic thing. I mean,
Hmm.
even she struggles with like, do I like him? Like, but she's like, no, I'm all
Yeah.
about basketball. I love basketball. But then like you could see her inner like struggle that she has of
Yeah.
like, do I like him like that? Like, would she has a hard time because she doesn't hate
Hmm.
him, and she starts noticing things like she starts getting jealous because
Hmm.
let's talk about Hina, right?
Hina, yeah.
Let's talk about the third. Let's talk about that love triangle, right?
Yeah.
So that's when you I guess that's the point of adding a love triangle, right? Is so that the two other characters begin to define how they feel about each other, and that it's not just as simple as we're friends or we're like rivals, because at some point it almost felt like rivalry at times, or people that thrive each other, like drive each other.
Hmm.
So Hina, Shono, if I'm pronouncing that right,
Hmm.
is this girl who also who goes to the same school as them, and but she's in a different sport. She is in rhythmic gymnastics,
Hmm.
and she's also at the top of her game. She is very popular. She's very pretty. She has her own little following and everything. She's also very talented, and she also gets inspired but by Taiki. So while Taiki was looking at Shinatsu and being inspired to be better, Hina was looking at him and being inspired and being like, "Oh man, this guy's working really hard." So I even think like she also kind of didn't immediately fall in love with him. Also, Hina, I think what
Yeah.
made her fall in love with him was, well, they started their relationship as friends, so she had the opportunities to go hang out with him, go spend time with him, get to know him a little bit closer as friends, but then also see him as somebody that she could be inspired to be like, oh man, like this is what you can get from trying this hard as much as this guy is trying. That would inspire her as well. um but eventually even she comes through those realizations like, oh my god, am I in love with this guy, right? Like she also was surprised by that. I don't At first I don't think she knew that she liked them like that.
Well,
She just
I
had
think
like
there might have been a.
admiration and go ahead.
Well, I'm kind of wondering if she did though, because remember how like her first um
Hmm.
instance of their dynamic was he bought her a like what was it, like an apple or something that she really wanted at
Yeah, the
like a
candy
festival.
apple. Hmm.
Yeah, and I think it was one of those things like you said where it's like it wasn't necessarily that she like fell in love with him, but she held him in high regard and they became best friends. But I think it always teetered the line of being like romantic. I
Yeah,
think
but it
that's
wasn't
how it did.
immediately romantic. I think she, or maybe
No,
it was.
you're probably
I don't
right.
know, man.
No,
Huh?
no, no, no. I think you're right because I think she mentioned something when he's talking about Chinatsu. She starts to realize that she likes him. There's something about it because I think it's like you know how sometimes your friend dynamic is you're so comfortable that you don't realize where your feelings do lie and you've never been
Yep.
aware of it, but then when something
Yeah.
happens it triggers that like,
Yeah.
oh, I do like you. I think that's what
Yeah.
happened with Hina was like they were so close already that it felt like they were that close already, but now
Yeah.
here's a new layer of like this is what Taiki's like when he likes someone.
Yeah.
I want this. Oh, I actually really like him. And that's what led her to do her big confession, knowing that he liked Shinatsu, is she's like, no, I want this. And I'm going to do everything that I can to get it. And it just sucks because Hina's a great character and well
She
written
is,
and
dude. She's
broke my
honest.
heart.
She's bubbly. She's unapologetic about how she is and what she does and what she wants and when she wants it, which is, again, not a common thing in Japanese culture, right? Because their culture is be quiet, follow the rest, or the nail that stands out gets hammered. Their society is not meant to breed people like Hina. Um, but yet so that's why I like her as a character. She is just
Hmm.
alive. She is
Yeah.
she is again, she's great and she's funny and she like grinds his ass and she jokes with him,
Yeah.
like she gets along with
But
everybody. Like she's a best girl in my opinion. She's
yeah.
best to me. She's best girl, man.
Well, you know what episodes really broke me for Hina? What made me truly like her? And I mean, I haven't read Blue Box, and I know a lot of people say they turn to Team Shinatsu when, like, they start dating. Sorry, spoiler alert, everybody. Shinatsu and Taiki do eventually date. It's kind of foreshadowed. But
Yeah.
um, one of the episodes that broke my heart is when Hina is talking about how she's alone and facing the pressure because her dad was also like a pro solid, what was it, like gymnast or something, and so was her
Right.
mom. And there's like all this pressure, and she's talking about how she's always done it alone, and she's like, I can handle it. This is what I'm used to. And then there's that moment, and then she's talking about how she has to worry about her weight. Like, she can't eat certain things because if she goes up by 1 gram or 2 grams, it changes everything. The pressure of even monitoring that, of every little facet, and how she talks about how she's fine, that she's been doing it alone all this time. And then there's that moment when a basketball player accidentally bends her foot, her ankle, and she's worried it's super sprained or could be broken, and she's holding it and she's like, I have to deal with this alone. Like, you could see it circling in her head, like, this is it for me. But then Taiki comes in and like carries her to the nurse's office, and then you see the, like, again, I think this is another shift too, is her realizing this is what she wants in someone, and Taiki's always been that for her. So I think you're right and I was wrong. I think that was a moment when she realized she really wanted him to be hers.
Because she had always seen herself as an individual that could, like you said right now, right? Like that nobody can really help me. Nobody falls at in the standard of what that of who I am, and that could be my equal. And then we see Taiki consistently being like that equal, right? I think like in any
Mm-hmm.
relationship, when we look for a partner, I think we always look for somebody that can I don't know why this just squeezed in my mind.
Do it.
That the little otter, the little otter with the little dances
Somebody
like
gonna match
the
my
match
freak.
my freak. Somebody gonna match my
Gonna
freak.
match my freak. We gotta cut that in here, dude. We gotta
Oh
cut this like right
my
here. We just
god.
see the somebody gonna match my
That's my
freak.
freak. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think that's what it is for everybody. Not
Yeah,
to lose the seriousness of it, but you want to find somebody that matches your freak, right? Like, so
yeah,
Hina,
yeah.
so Hina saw that, and Taiki is like, here is this guy who is hardworking, is dependable, he knows what he's doing. There's hard situations, and he's there. He's mindful. He pays attention. And again, bringing back the Apple thing that you said, like, you know, she mentioned that she loves that she had been looking forward to going to this festival because one of her favorite things is these caramel apples, right? And then she gets there
Yeah,
late and
that's
she
what it
doesn't get a
was.
chance to get it. And Taiki meets up, is like, hey, look. And he just gives it to her. And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, you
Yeah.
said you want it. This is
Oh, it
just
was
what you
because he
said.
said she was drooling, right? Like, she was looking at a picture and he noticed her drooling, and that's when he was like, I have to get this for her just in case. Like, I
Yeah,
wasn't that it? It was like,
yeah. It was a small gesture like that. Just because
yeah,
she had always done things by herself, and here is this person that pay attention to something that is was important to her. She never thought
yeah,
that somebody would ever do that for her because she was so independent and always felt
hmm,
alone, right?
yeah.
Which much later we find out she feels lonely,
Oh
you
man.
know
Well,
yeah.
and it gets worse because, like, you think about, so jumping ahead real
Oh
quick,
yeah, it gets
everybody,
worse.
again,
Yeah,
like with
as I
Hina,
said
it
it,
just,
I had to swallow hard. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, because think about, like, so real quick, I'll lay it out and I'll let Silver take the floor, but like, we see in moments where Hina settles, and that's also what I like about the show, is like, the show teaches don't settle if it's not for you. And I think that's a very valuable lesson that people need to know, is like, yes, you can love someone, you can want to be with them, but settling only hurts you in the long run. And I think seeing how Taiki unintentionally hurt Hina with like the fireworks festival because she wanted to go on a date with him, but then he thought it meant like go as a group, or when she wanted to root for him in his match against the guy, and I'm trying to remember the guy again.
I don't remember his
But
name, but yeah, I mean,
yeah,
she wanted to
the
support
other
him
guy
during
that
the
like,
match. Yeah.
yeah, and he said you don't have to because it's just a practice match. But then he did that. He said he wanted Shinatsu to do that for him, or the just all these other moments where you feel for her because you know what it's like to have been there. I think everybody's had that moment in their life where they've like kind of wanted
They've
somebody to
liked
work
somebody,
so
but
well
they don't
for them.
reciprocate. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't help but want that so badly that
Yeah.
you'll just settle for it so hard
You're
because
like, I'll just
why would you
support them
not?
from afar.
Yeah,
I'll just be here. I'll suffer by myself in the corner. I'll just,
yeah,
as long as they're happy. But that's such
right?
teenage angst.
Yeah,
Uh, but again, these are teenagers, so
yeah,
that is pretty accurate what they're feeling right now, and the feelings that they're
yeah.
putting these characters through, because it's not something that you go through as an adult. At least I would hope adults that are listening to
I mean, I
this
think some people
don't do
do
that to yourselves.
unintentionally, but seriously, don't do that. But like you said, I think it broke my heart because the way that the anime conveyed Hina's desire for wanting it to work with Taiki, and again Taiki being a teenager kind of leading her on because she said you don't have to give me an answer right away, and he was like I don't want to give you an answer because like I'm
Yeah.
realizing I might be falling for you a little bit too because you planted the idea in my head. And then we get this sad moment when uh do you want to describe or do you want me to describe it? How
So before we get to that point, I want to say that
uh
I like Taiki a lot. He has been one of the best MCs, male role models, male main characters, in a lot in an anime or in a manga and in a Japanese series that I've seen in a very long time. So when we, I like to call this the douchebag arc. Uh, so
fair,
when the
very
douchebag
fair.
arc comes through, it was very heartbreaking for me and disappointing. So Hina, because she is so honest, she actually confesses her feelings to Taiki. Taiki at this point with Chinatsu, he doesn't know where he stands because, like, Shinatsu at some point, because they had been living together, she sees that them living together is taking a toll on her focusing on basketball. Because right now her focus is basketball. I want to go to the nationals. I want to be the best basketball player. That is my dream. That is why I stayed in Japan and I didn't go to the States or traveled overseas with my parents, right? So she's focused, and that's fine. That's her right to be focused. That there's nothing wrong with that. She everybody is allowed to choose what's important to you. She chose that. So because of that, she kind of almost told him, "Hey man, we're just friends. Like up to there. That's it." She almost kind of like cut him off and said, "Hey, we have no shot." Right? And Taiki's like, "Oh, I thought we were okay." You know? Like you can't just like get rid of your feelings. Like he still feels.
Hmm.
But around that time, Hina is like, "Hey, I think I like this guy." And she confesses to him and says, "Hey, I like you, you know?
Yeah.
And I know you have feelings for Shinatsu, right? I don't know what's happening there, but I want you to know right now without us going any further because I actually respect our friendship. I need to tell you, this is how I feel." Which, again, I love you, Hina. Like, she is so
Yeah.
cool. As a friend, as a person, she at the moment she realizes she feels this way, she doesn't want to like continue to this friendship without those feelings being out there, which is again very adult for her and very mature for her to think like and be like. So she throws it at him. He's like he doesn't know what to do with that because
Yeah.
like he's dealing with the fact that Shinatsu just basically said up to here, like we ain't doing nothing. So he's like, maybe I'm supposed to be with Hina. Hina is a good girl. Hina has been a good friend. Hina has been supportive. All these positive things of Hina. He's like, okay, yeah, this might work. Like Hina is cute. Hina is pretty. Like Hina is all these like really good qualities. but he still takes forever to give her an answer. Like, a lot. In anime
Yeah.
timeline, it took forever. Like, it was maybe like a couple of episodes for us, like 6, 7 episodes. But in
Yeah.
anime time, it was probably like an entire school semester, which was months, you know? So this poor girl, Hina, has to like go every single day to practice, class, get to see this guy that she just confessed to. The guy keeps alluding to give her an answer, and they're supposed to be good friends because that's what they were
Yeah.
first, right? And she throws him a couple of softballs again. There's opportunities. She offered him a kiss. She offered to
Mm-hmm.
spend time with him. You know, there was a lot of things that she threw his way that I'm sorry, I would have taken that pitch, no problem, you know. But I'd be like, yes, Hina, my love, of course, no problem, baby, you know. I've been like, Chinatsu, who, China, who, Chinatsu, Chinatsu, you know.
Oh my
Basketball
god.
girl versus like rhythmic gymnastics girl, duh, rhythmic, you know. Yeah, the gymnastics chick, 100%. Basketball girl, you know, whatever, cool. She can do a jump shot. I'm all right with that, I guess.
Oh my god.
But flexibility, but the flexibility in a woman, I can appreciate that even more. I'm going to stop there before I continue.
We're still getting canceled
by,
from this.
by the way, don't think I forgot that you called me a pervert a couple of days ago.
Huh?
Jameen called you on it.
She said I
What
called you a
did you?
degenerate. It was like
Degenerate. There you
we're
go.
both degenerates. What are you talking
Silver is a
about?
degenerate, and I get a message from Jenny. It's like, Silver, Ambu said that you're a degenerate. I'm like, well, yes, it's true. I am the biggest degenerative
Bro. Okay, we're going to
ever.
say, can I tell you what I said to
So I
her? I
was
was
like,
like,
thank you, Jenny. And that is true. Sorry to disappoint you, but yes, I am. Go ahead.
no,
Sorry.
because I was like, I called you a degenerate. She's like, I'm gonna tell him you called him a degenerate. I was like, he calls himself an internet lord and a degenerate and all this other stuff. I was like,
It's true. It's in my
go
Twitter,
ahead,
guys.
tell him that. And so that's when she was like, that's when Jimmy Machine texted Silver in our group chat, being like, I will fight to defend your honor to Silver, being like, Ambu called you a degenerate, and I was like, oh my god.
And I love Jameen Machine for defending my honor, and I appreciate it. However, I feel even worse. There is no honor to defend because I am a degenerate.
Oh my god. But
uh,
oh man, but like you just,
Go ahead.
but getting back to it real quick, I'll just say this. I think the thing that just tears me apart with Hina is like in this moment, because again, you're talking about the boundary that Chinatsu sets with Taiki. Part of it is because she feels like she's losing her focus in
Her
basketball.
focus.
The other
Yeah.
part of it too is she's realizing that she has these feelings for him and she can't focus on it because it was after she made him broth for his fever, and then like
Mhm.
she fell on him, and there was a moment where it looked like they were about to kiss, and then they didn't.
Sexual
But I think
tension.
they both clearly knew something was about to happen, and also
He
because
was
she didn't
like,
want to
"Is
give
that
it
a
away.
titty?"
He was not like that. He just looked up and she was like getting ready to like she was trying to grab like
He,
the pad
he
off
was
of his
like,
head. Oh my god, that's not how he was. But anyway, but like Shinatsu is also worried because she's aware of Taiki, and she notices
Mm.
that Hina and is like really laying it on with Taiki. She's being like, as long as I get you to look at me and as a girl that likes you and stop looking at me as just a friend, I'll do whatever. And he's like, huh? And she's like, oh, they're getting it. Like they're clearly about to start something, and I don't want to be in the way. Um, so I kind of I feel like I got lost in my own plot that I was trying to come up with. But I'm just gonna say that like it just made I think that's just what makes me devastated for Hina was like she did what I think a lot of people who are trying not to act like something really matters to them that much, but it does. With her being like, I'm totally cool if you take your time figuring it out because as long as it gets you to like me, I'm cool with that. And I feel like there's a lot of that happens in life for people where they try to do the whole like it's cool, yeah, I just confessed to you, I like you, but like you do you, whatever, as long as I get to be by your side. And then when it all comes
That's
to a
kind of
head, which it
sad.
has to,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's yeah. But like Hina's also a bro. Can we be honest here? Because there's a moment in the Snow White show when Taiki had to step in, and he protects her from getting hit in the head with like this ball thing with glitter, and it looks like they kissed, and they probably did. And then even though she didn't do this, Hina was like, "Bro, I got you. You want me to tell people that like we didn't kiss, right? Like, don't worry, I got you. I'll let people know. Like, I know that this doesn't matter." And granted, she actually wanted to use that to her advantage, but like aside from that, Hina, like she was already ready to do stuff like that for him, where it's like, let me help you get to Chinatsu a little bit more. Even though she did even tell Chinatsu, like, I like him, I'm going for it, I'm
I
letting you
told
know.
him. Yeah, she told her.
Yeah.
They like Hina was playing straight with Shinatsu all the time. Like even Hina was honest with Chinatsu because Hina knew that Shinatsu also was kind of conflicted about her feelings, but was
Mm-hmm.
still kind of like softballing, being like, "Hey, I know we both like this dude, right? So I want to let you know, I told him. I told him I liked him. And like again the Snow White episode, right? We didn't kiss. Like that did not happen. I know that from an angle it looked like that. Didn't happen. So
Mm-hmm.
Hina was playing like there was a lot of opportunities for Hina to pull a fast one over Shinatsu, and she didn't.
Yeah.
Like she played fair all the time, and she always gave Shinatsu a chance to hop in and be like, "Hey, you know what? I do like you, Taiki. Let's get this done."
Yeah. Like,
Which
let's
makes it
seal the
even
deal.
sadder, bro. Which
Yeah.
which which it hurts my heart even more for
Yeah,
for Hina.
because there's the part where Karen's sister, Amaya, I think is her name, right? Is it Amaya? Yeah, Ayame Moria, the little sister of Karen, tries to like help Hina with like setting her up with Taiki in like this during this retreat when like the basketball teams, the badminton teams, and the rhythm gymnastics group were all at this resort to train for 3 days. It was literally just train all day, eat and sleep, train all day, eat and sleep. But supposedly at the end of the trip, there's a bonfire, and if you confess your love to someone, you become a couple. Ayame was like, I got you. I left something inside of this court. Can you totally just go get that for me? No other reason why. I'm a wingman you. And then it kind of forces a situation where, because of the bonfire, because of the superstition, Hina's like trying to make it happen with Taiki. And that's when we
Hina,
get that
right?
heartbreaking
Yeah,
scene. Yeah.
yeah. That's where
Uh,
we get that very sad sad scene. So here's the piss me off too. So in a lot of things piss me off. One, uh, Ayame, right, the girl that becomes like the Batman team's manager that helps the team with all
right.
the stuff. You should never meddle, even if you see it happening in front of you. You should not meddle in people's like personal stuff. Like they're even if you see there's a love triangle happening, you should not uh you should not mess with it. You should not you shouldn't mess with it. You should just
Yeah.
let things happen, progress the way that they do. uh so forcing Hina and Taiki to have this like rendezvous inside the gym while they're having a bonfire. Um, that I didn't like how she just forced the situation. And the other thing that pissed me off was the way that Taiki reacted um, to having, man, it's just so I'm having a hard time finding the words because to me he finally gives Hina an answer and the answer is no, right? I
Yeah.
don't think we're going to be able to be together. But the way that he reacts, it's almost like Hina had been bothering him forever and it was annoying to him and it was
Yeah.
tedious and he was like to a point like just bothered. I was like, bitch. You know, I was like,
Yeah.
bitch, you know,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
how much this girl bled her own heart and feelings
I know.
to comfort your little bitch ass. Do you
Oh
do
my
you know?
god,
Do
bro.
you know how much this girl understood your pussy ass all the time and like just coddled you so freaking much and tossed you so many opportunities to be brave and the same thing for Shinatsu. Though Shinatsu, I can't really blame her because she's focused on her thing and that's fine. But as much as she allowed the way that Hina was doing it in allowing Shinatsu and Itaiki's thing to develop was less invasive than Ayame and set up situations to develop in a more natural way.
Yeah.
And then for him to kind of like just seem like, you know what? No, I don't want to date with you. I don't know. At least to me, it felt like he had an attitude to it all. Like
Uh,
that's how it felt like to me, at least. Right? And I'm wrong.
yeah.
I'm wrong. But
Well, no,
go ahead.
no. I think part of it was, and I'm trying to remember this if this is correct. And for those of you who are watching, comment down below. Let us know if we're wrong. But in that episode, he keeps telling her, "Hey, like I don't think it's ever going to be more than friends." She kept saying, "No, no, 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 no. You don't have to answer me right away. Right now, I told you don't answer me until you have an answer." And the reason why he got fed up was because he was like, I need you to understand it's never going to be beyond that. And so I think the frustration was more of, unfortunately for Hina, because she'd been waiting so long, I think what she really meant was, don't answer me until you like me. That was really what she had said, what she meant when she said, you don't have to have an answer right away. It was really, you don't have an answer until you like me back, which sucks because that's the subtext that we see implicitly, and Taiki, being the little punk coward that he was, didn't have the heart to tell her from the get-go, sorry, it's never going to be more than friends, which he should have respected her as much as she respected him and Shiratsu, to tell her, hey, I don't know if I feel the same way about you, and I
Yeah.
don't want you to feel like I'm leading you on, so let me
Yeah.
be clear that I only like Shinatsu. I think I agree with you that it was like the F boy era for Taiki because he was a coward, but he should have respected her from the get go, saying, "We're never going
He
to be
should
that way."
have.
Like,
He should have.
yeah,
He should have like because there was times where like he hid from Shinatsu that he hung out with Hina because they went out on a
hmm
date. They went on a date to it was a date. It started off with like a hangout as a group, you know, but it turned into just Taiki and Hina hanging out. He leaves Hina hanging to go see and spend time with Shinatsu. Man, that was so fucking rude, man, to like abandon somebody else just to go spend time with this other girl. And then hides the fact from Shinatsu that that he was with Hina. Like,
yeah,
dude, that was weird. That was weird. Why are you hiding it? If you're not doing anything wrong, if you don't like the girl, why are you hiding one girl from another? Like that's where I also lost respect for Taiki, because he basically saved her as the just in case girl. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
that's what it came off like. That's what it looked like. That Hina was the backup, the emergency girl.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
like, if it doesn't work out with Shinatsu, you're like, it's cool. Still got a cute pink haired gymnastics chick that will, go out with me.
Yeah,
That's how he treated it. That's how he acted most of the time. And I don't think Hina deserved that treatment. I don't think Tina deserved to be number two or the second choice or like the backup choice.
yeah.
The girl on her own should be able to stand as the main girl and the first choice. Um,
I agree.
and yeah, I mean, just making her wait for so long, it was unfair. So when we
Yeah.
finally get to see that, when she gets her answer and having to hear her cry, the voice actors did a fantastic job.
Oh,
The
dude,
voice
seriously.
actors, I felt it. I
Yeah,
I I felt it. The wailing that the voice actors did when Hina's crying,
yeah.
I felt it. I felt it in my soul. I hurt. I think I teared up. I hurt, man. I hurt
It
having
was
to hear
hard.
her wail.
Yeah,
You could hear the heartbreak, and the voice actress, man,
yeah.
chef's kiss. That was devastating for sure.
It was. And I know we have talked about purely about like the love triangle, but can I real quick to like put it towards more about what I love about Blue Box,
Yeah.
other aspects of it. The other characters, supporting characters, are really well written. I mean, Kyo is a
Yes.
great supporting character who really, when you learn more about his backstory, it's sad, but like he's a really great character for everyone. We have Haru, which becomes like um who becomes like a rival and a mentor for Taiki, and I love his ambitions and how even him as like kind of like the pillar or the one that's like sitting on the pillar for Taiki, he has his own shortcomings and his own worries and fears, and we see that play out in like in the tournaments. It's just so like every character shines in their own way. There's no like it's just these three characters. Like yes, they get their standard MC screen time, but like every other character that shows up is well done and solid. Even like what is it, like Nagisa, I think is her name, like the one that's always with Hina is a great character for the for her like as a support character. I think it's Nagisa who is there
They
for Hina.
they they
But like
they had a good cast of characters that
yeah.
surrounded these three main characters, right?
Yeah.
They all honestly could stand in their own little arcs, honestly, if they wanted to do it. Each one of them had we had a
Oh
little bit
Nina.
of everybody's personality, a little bit of their story. We had a good, they did a good job showing us a little bit of everybody to get a good idea of who they were.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, amazing supporting characters. I
And it
agree.
was Nina for Nina and Hina, and then
Nina.
Nagisa with Chinatsu. But yeah, you're right. Everybody's just well done. And like you said, one of the things that I will admit I'm a stickler for in animation is I don't like the frame rate dip in 3D animation because you can see the choppiness compared to like when it's more 2D esque or like they put the aesthetic of a 2D style. But I feel like in Blue Box, it's not as noticeable in the action sequences. Like when they're playing badminton, you actually feel the velocity of the swings, you feel the energy of the movement, you feel the like how crazy badminton goes. Apparently badminton goes hard according to this anime. um I didn't know that. I was like, dude, they're
Oh,
smacking a little like feather thing back and forth, and no,
a
this
little
show's like,
birdie.
bro, they're like rallying, like smack, smack, like back and forth. Um, it's just a well done show, like
It
hands
was.
down.
It was good. It was great. And I need to read the manga. I need to see what else happens. I don't know if they're gonna come back for a season two for the anime.
They have to. There's no way they're not going to, with how how good it's doing, I would be surprised if Netflix
Yeah.
didn't at least give a second season.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I hope so. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, watch it. Go, guys, before it's gone on Netflix. Take a moment. It's a good little binge. It's like 26 episodes, Sambu. How many episodes is
Yeah,
it?
25, but it's like, they're quick. I mean, they're gonna burn through it real fast because you're gonna get hooked in.
Yeah.
You're gonna like
You
what you
once you get
see.
hooked in, you're not letting go, man. Yeah, it was good. You're gonna.
Absolutely.
It's gonna seem short. But yeah, let us know what you guys think. Comment. Tell us who is best girl. Who is your best girl? Is it Shinatsu or is it Hina? For me, it was Hina. Ambu, who was best girl for you?
Uh,
Don't you
right
dare say
now,
Shina.
based off the anime, Hina, just because I have a lot of respect for
That's right.
how Hina handled her
Good
situation,
boy.
and oh my god. But hands down, like her character is very authentic and real, and kudos to the voice actor for also making her feel so real um, and breaking our hearts. Because dear God, that whale made me want to cry. Um,
Yeah,
so
thank you for
yeah,
breaking our hearts. things that
yeah.
you
Thank
never
you, thank
things
you.
you never think you'd say. But again, it goes to speak to the quality of the story and the quality of the acting and of everything. Of all of
Yeah.
it. Of all of it. But yeah. All right guys. Well, don't forget to pay your tabs. Please don't piss off the ninja cats. They will kill you. And we will see you on the next episode. Goodbye.
Until then, later.
Bye. All right, let's stop this.